Hello and welcome everybody to
We got some echo.
got some echo on this live stream.
We had it.
I think it's good though.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. Welcome everybody to new Metanet Meetup. Today is February 6th, 2026. Lots of 2s and 6s this time. And we're going to be talking about the real world. What do I mean by the real world? I mean the world in which we physically exist, where there are people, places, and things. And then we're going to think about the best ways to integrate that with blockchain technology, because blockchain is related to truth. And knowing what's true in the real world is inherently useful. So, yeah, that's kind of the theme this time. It's the theme that I said at the end of the last one. And we just wanted to talk about some of the stuff that's going on from around the ecosystem. We can maybe go into some updates as well, and we can we can see what the future is going to look like, and we might want to go and build next. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the first thing, and maybe I'll just put up my screen in this case, so that I can explain what I have. Let's see. I'm just going to present here. Screen, window, tab, Google Chrome, GeoFactoid. What is GeoFactoid? GeoFactoid.com should be visible, possibly.
Now it is.
There it is. Very good. This is a thing that I have been whoa. Chill out, maps. I accidentally scrolled and it made the map scroll into the different areas. So, what is GeoFactoid? It's a new game, and it's also a way to make games that are related to the real world and that use blockchain to discover truth. So GeoFactoid is based on places and cards in the real world. And all the cards, this is the Card Creator Studio, so you can see some examples. And maybe I'll zoom in to make some of the text a little bit bigger.
You should.
You can see some examples of cards from all around the world. And we're talking about landmarks. We're talking about things. We're talking about facts about places. So every card has a title, it's got a description, and it's got a location. And it's supposed to be a fact about a place. And these can be put onto the blockchain. Some of them, as you can see, are already here. And these are ones that I think are mostly related to Rogue Valley, Southern Oregon, where we're located.
Oh yeah, I've been to a bunch of these.
So, this is the idea. We're going to start putting these cards that say here's a latitude, longitude, and here's a culturally significant event, or a culturally significant landmark, or just a thing that happened at a place that's useful for other people to know. And we're going to make these cards for the entire world. And then you can use this system to make some fun games, as one example. And so geofactoid.com is the website for this. And it's an idea that I had a little while ago, and you can see a few example game modes here. So let's just go to the one on the left here. And this is Pinpoint Duel. So if you're, with a friend, you could have a duel, and you could say, all right, well, given this card, given the title of this card or something, can you identify its location? And the goal would be, maybe these aren't all just facts about, maybe these aren't just like landmarks. Maybe like there's a particular bend in a particular creek, and during that, at this particular location, we know that um, there are known to be, it's a great place to catch a certain type of fish at a certain time of year. Or maybe there's just you know, there's 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 certain land out there, and it's good for growing a particular type of crops, given just the surrounding environment and context and all of that. We think that the MetaNet is going to make the world a lot more local, and it's going to make people focus a little bit more on what's physically close to them versus focusing on, what Taylor Swift ate for lunch, right? Or something
You don't care
global
about that?
and national. I mean, I'm sure some people do, and nothing against those people, but I think that we would like to know more about our local communities, and it kind of brings back or fills a void that, maybe you used to read the local paper, but now it's just full of a bunch of syndicated columns, and you don't really get a sense for your local community fabric and what's going on around you. Um, so building different games that are derived from these cards that exist in each of these locations is the premise behind the geofactoid system. And so, um, yeah, that's my contribution. It's going to be going live again next week. Last time we talked about a few games and a few things like that. Um, and I think Metaspeed is live now. It's on metaspeed.metanetgames.com, so people can check that out. But Geofactoid, yeah, that's kind of how I wanted to start this discussion and see if anybody wants to chime in or ask questions. The idea is it's not just one game, it's the system for having these cards on the blockchain. We can have maybe people like endorse certain facts, and like, more endorsed facts from people in a place. They obviously might have a little bit more credibility or something. We can tag different um, we can tag different facts with different tags so that certain types of games can, like, uh, they could make use of these cards in different ways, or different sets of the cards. So then, like, suppose I wanted to learn a lot about the geography of my local area. I could select my local area, and then um, I could add a bunch of cards. We can use AI assistants to help populate a lot of the cards around the map for different areas and all of that. But but then we want to make it so that everybody can, propose changes to cards and maybe make their own versions of different ones, and all of that. Uh, we also want to sell, maybe eventually, physical game boards and physical cards that people could play particular regions. So, like, there could be one for the Rogue Valley, or there could be one for different regions. The whole United States could be, made into a card or something, or a board, and you could play with a major landmark. So rather than getting 10,000 cards associated with every single small thing, you're playing with Golden Gate Bridge, Statue of Liberty, the things of that nature. And certain games could be devised among your friends, right, based on this. So, like, who can place the most cards accurately given a set in the least amount of time, right? So you could have like a competition mode where it's like, I'm gonna put 20 random cards up, and then whoever can place all 20 of them accurately or within a shorter amount of time could win, or something like that. Who could memorize these different ones in different ways, but even more advanced games as well, such as strategy games, where we even conceptualized in our little town where we're at in the Rogue Valley. We conceptualized a game called Food Fight, in which we get like a lot of the local restaurants that are here, and we get all the menu items, and we make cards for them, and we tag them. and then you can be a particular restaurant and you could fight against the other restaurants, and each of the menu items has like a superpower or something like that. And if you're just sitting around a table with your friends, and you use these different menu items as like little, just an interesting way to obviously get to know more of the local cuisine, but also have a fun time with your friends. And so that's my idea. That's kind of what I wanted to build for this, and
Mm.
just map blockchain based truth ledgers, and how we have the ability to track the history of these cards and track the locations associated with them, and the information. Um, Combining that with physical locations and the ability to have multiple windows or views into data, right? Which is, you can see these cards each have little tags, and so we can have different game modes that only use ones with particular tags and things like that. Um, that's kind of the thing.
There's lots of different ways you can build on top of this once you kind of have this ability to put these facts associated with landmarks and things like that. So I think it's a cool idea, especially the physical card aspect. Like, you could have cards that you can only get at certain locations or something. That would encourage people to get out in the real world and like travel around and stuff.
Yeah, so like we could have cards that are on the blockchain, right? But we could also have cards that are just sitting on the counter at a particular local store, and a copy of that card is on the blockchain. But if you want to get a physical copy in order to play with your friends or something, then the only way to get that could be to physically travel to that location, right? And because it's on the blockchain, and because each card is distributed that way, only available at that location, you could kind of confirm that this is in fact an authentic card that actually came from that establishment versus somewhere else, right? And that way you're supporting them, you're going to their establishment, you're connecting with your local community, you are learning more about the land and the businesses, the people, the culture that's around you, and you are becoming more oriented towards that type of a world instead of an internet world full of AI slop.
Yeah, what is it? What is it exactly that stops me from making like a totally non-factual card, like, or making something up about any one of these places?
Well, so I think that there's different ways to prevent that. There's going to be a couple different things that come to mind. First is going to be having different people kind of vouch for things, right?
Yeah.
So we could have different people confirm and whatnot. The other one is for cards that are in physical locations, like at a restaurant or something like that. If that restaurant wants to kind of work with GeoFactoid to promote their restaurant through this game and bring more people in, then they could create a digital signature over the things that are from their restaurant. So it's like, well, we know that this restaurant, has signed it, and GeoFactoid, we verify that, this is the actual restaurant that's here, and that this signature kind of, or their kind of system would be the only one that could produce certain like certified cards. So certification of cards from authoritative sources, like, for example, if you trust the United States Geological Survey or GIS stuff, ArcGIS, different systems like that, you could actually plug in and link to some you could link to some authoritative sources published from the government, or from different people who create maps for things like geographic locations. Just saying, this location is in fact here. For more localized things, though, I think it's more so you and your community putting together things. Because if you're in this community, I think you're going to be more likely to know that, like, this isn't the case or something, right? Like, if someone says, well, this is a great place to catch some salmon, at this particular location in this, but
puddle.
right, it's just a puddle, or it's not, it's like, well, clearly everybody who's there is gonna refute that, so they're not gonna play with that card because it's not cool.
It would be interesting to have some sort of, I guess, I don't know, you play around with the dynamics of because if people discover that's not actually correct, it's like they could leave a review or downvote it or somehow.
What I was just thinking is turn this into like a bright view of sorts, where people can leave reviews about everything, and then other people that come along and find value in that review can even monetize it and upvalue it and that type of thing. That way people see this one has a lot of credibility. So that brings, some monetization to the table there.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, this could be a really great tool for teachers, actually. Like geography teachers might have a lot of fun with this and bringing it into their classroom. Maybe giving kids credit for, I don't know, for proving something wrong about what's already there, or adding new facts. Yeah, there's all kinds of possibilities in education, it looks like.
It's definitely also a place to document, suppressed locations potentially.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if there's locations, I guess, out there that are not quite as well known or something like that, maybe there's some way to just make accurate records of that kind of thing. I do think as well, like if you're there's some elements, like for example, we were conceptualizing this. We could have like every restaurant in a town and all the menu items and build this like food fight strategy game or something. But if you're just playing that with your friends, one of the rules, and obviously like, it's kind of the honor system or something. We don't have to enforce all the rules with blockchain. Like one of the rules could be like, if you play this attack, you play like the you play like, suppose there's a diner and they have a bacon and eggs dish, right? You play the bacon and eggs attack from the park side or whatever onto somebody. Then if they've actually eaten that particular dish before at that particular restaurant, well, then that's like a defense against it, or it makes the attack less powerful. It's like, yeah, well, I've had that, so
rules applied on top, like game specific rules are applied on
yeah,
top.
and I think that would be much more effective in person, just playing around a table with friends, where like you kind of each other. You're not going to lie and be like, oh, I had this when I didn't, or whatever.
Yeah, and can you add photos to these cards and things?
I think that would be a really great addition. Right now they're text only, but having images or having an image associated with each card, I think is going to be important. Making the tagging system more extensible, and then adding card verification and card revisions, where someone can either propose a revision to a card or just make an entirely new copy. And then card certification, working with local entities to release new cards in this game. That could be, I think that could be one way to get engagement. And then the other thing about this is the more people from different locations that play, the more cards are likely to be contributed. Because if you got a group of friends in one particular area, you probably want to put together at least a few cards for that area so that you can play with your local context with all the things that are around you. And then, of course, at the beginning, or when there's not quite so much information, it's still okay because you can play with global landmarks. So there's still going to be like global strategy games and things of that nature, where maybe just certain cards have unique characteristics. Like the Golden Gate Bridge always has particular attributes in a strategy type game, where you're using it as one of many things in your arsenal, right? And so, yeah, having these cards recorded could be good, and then we can make reference to them inside of different games in different contexts. So, yeah, I like the use case for putting this into schools, and so that kids can spend time learning about their local community and kind of building that type of foundational awareness of reality, especially with the Web 2 platforms the way they are, and with the attack that we're seeing against the human attention span and whatnot, with spending too much time on these social media platforms that take you away from that, and that we need more reminders of where we are, and so that's why I thought that it's going to be a cool thing. It's not we're gonna roll out the initial version next week on geofactoid.com. Right now, we have kind of a test set of cards, and we're doing some early tests. We're probably going to reset the map a few times as we add the verification systems and everything like that. Once the kind of protocol for this geofactoid system is set in place, we'll then be able to make use of it in a large number of different contexts, and maybe you'll be even using that system when you don't even realize it if you're playing some other game. So, well, let's see what we got going in the chat here, and then maybe we can go into other things.
Archie says,
good morning, Archie. Good to see you always. And what do we got here?
interesting.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is this is one example of a system that can interact with the real world and maybe can be useful to build stuff. Anybody else have things they want to bring up or talk about in respect of the real world? Otherwise, we can just go maybe into just some other updates that have been happening from around the space and some of the developments that have been going on in terms of other apps and some news. Let's see. This is, I see, similar to Pokemon Go. I think so, for sure. I mean, there's, someone could build something like that where you have to be at a particular location to do something. Okay, well.
No, the same guy says, this is great. Been wanting something like this for years to document and request hotspots and hotspot clearings. Let's see. Okay, yeah, he just thinks it's a cool idea. Yeah. Well, thanks. YNG Wolf 7.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Should we get into some other news from around the space and just kind of go through some of the stuff we've been working on lately?
Sure.
Maybe just we'll update everybody. Yeah, we've been doing some improvements to the user experience of the Metanet. One of the big pieces of feedback that we've heard from a lot of people is that the permission system where you go on the Metanet and you try to use your apps is just really bad. And it pops up so many times. It's it makes it really tough to get things done and to use the apps that you want to use because you don't even know what the permissions are. Oftentimes the user doesn't understand what the pop-up is asking, and so we've done some steps in order to fix that. Maybe Braden, if you want to describe just the concept behind the group permissions aggregation and packed stuff in simple terms.
Sure. So a lot of times when you first go to use an app, there's either some initial permissions that are required to even show you information, or as you start clicking around the app, then it will pop up with a bunch of pop-ups. And a lot of times it would be one after the other. Like you'd have one pop-up, you'd hit grant, and then another one, and then you hit grant, and another one. And it creates pop-up fatigue, where people are just clicking yes, yes, yes because they're tired of seeing
They don't even read them.
Yeah. So that's just not good for security, and also it's about experience. So we had support for group permissions, but it was just kind of hard to use, and they weren't fully working. So now we have some changes that we're going to be rolling out soon, and it'll make it so that you see one pop-up initially. Usually the best way to do it is when you have an action. So let's say I want to send someone payment, and right when I click send payment, then it would pop up with, here's the permissions we need. It will present it in a way that's a little bit more easy to understand and hide all of the details unless you really care about them. And then when you click grant, that should be the only pop-up you see for all permissions, except for when you interact with a certain person.
A new person.
Yeah.
So like if I've used this app, say I use this app to interact with Bob, but then I want to now start to use the same app to interact with Casey or something, then it'll pop up again and say, all right, well, do you want to use this app with this new person? Yeah. And that way we're keeping people aware of who they're interacting with in a particular app, and then we're keeping them aware of at the beginning what that app is requesting, while trying to strike a balance between not popping up too many things that make the user so tired of it they don't even look at it, versus obviously we want to make sure they're in control of the information that they share. And you can also, I believe, deselect any number of these. So if you want to say, I will, if I am an advanced user and I really do care about a lot of this stuff, I can still go into the advanced view, and then I can uncheck certain ones and say, I'm not going to grant these. And then it'll just pop up one by one afterwards later in case it is required.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, hopefully that will make it better. And then we're also going to roll out some better tools for developers to actually add support for these group permissions in their apps.
So the local automated runtime system, or LARS, which is how front end, how developers can build applications locally and run them up for testing while they're in the process of building their apps, is going to be extended to include a new way for you to automatically capture all of the protocols and all of the baskets and all the certificates and people that are part of your app, so that it can build what's called a permissions manifest or app manifest file. And we encourage people to add manifest files to their applications that describe all of the permissions that your app requests and tells the user exactly why you need each one. And that way, when they see this pop up, it creates the best experience for them versus us just kind of guessing why you might need these ones. So in short, for developers who are building wallets, such as maybe Archie, who I know is watching, and other developers who might be Mitch from Binary or whoever, Wallet Toolbox, BSV Wallet Toolbox 2.0 is just in the process of being released, as well as BSV SDK 2.0. And as part of that series of releases, specifically Wallet Toolbox, we have already implemented the backend side of the protocol agnostic counterparty trust or pact system, and then the group permissions aggregation to make it so that there are fewer pop-ups. There's just some new callbacks that you want to plug in, and you can see an example of how to do that. I believe if it's not in BSV Desktop already as an example for open source, you can check that code out very soon, but I think it might already be merged, in fact. So yeah, that's for wallet developers. For app developers, it's just going to make your apps easier to use, and we would encourage you to set up manifest file for your permissions, and that way we can work together as an ecosystem to create the best experience for everybody who wants to use a Metanet app, where we don't have so many permissions pop-ups, and so that users can be more inclined towards the use of these new technologies. So that's the update on the permission system, and certainly go and check it out and build apps that put users in control. I believe PureJump.fun, other games, Metanet, Metaspeed, all of those things. We're gonna update all of our apps and and systems to use this PurePay We have, a lot of other example apps on metanetapps.com, and we're just going to go one by one, and we're going to make sure that our manifest files are updated. We're going to use the new Lars to populate those where we need to. But for you developers out there, just look out for some information about that and be aware of the existence of these new tools, so that when you build your apps, your users will have a good experience.
Yeah.
One
other thing I could show maybe here is the Metanet dashboard, or like the developer dashboard. Just real quick, maybe.
Do you want to put your screen?
Sure.
Okay, so you have already. All right. Yeah. So just yep.
Sure.
We just want to keep your audio muted, and then is it going to let you present?
I think so. You do a tab. So sharing.
Oh. Okay, so then we want to take Braden's tile down mic and then put up. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a site we made recently, and you can access it on developer.metanet.app. So basically, it's like a developer dashboard. So people that are building Metanet apps, they can go here, and they'll automatically see any apps they've published previously on metanetapps.com. So they'll see an overview here, like you can see all the apps that I've published here. You can see total reviews across all your apps, the average rating across all your apps, and you can scroll down and see some recent reviews. So it just allows you to have a better better picture into what people are, how people are liking your apps and how they're doing. So you can see here, Ty left me a 2-star review on my calendar app. So I better add push support for events. But it looks like John Calhoun really likes hypertypists, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a little bit harsh on Braden sometimes.
It's good. So you can publish apps directly from here. You can see there's this new tab called Revenue, which is pretty cool. This is going to be made even better as we add more tags and stuff, so you can see where the revenue is coming from. As you can see, I got 5 million sats, which is pretty cool, from people just using my apps with the Babbage Go. So I can explain these. And looks like it's going to do it sequentially, but.
So for devs that are not aware, Babbage Go is a system that you can use. And if you go to go.projectbabbage.com, you can check it out. And if you're building an app and you want to make it super easy to bring everybody onto the Metanet who goes and checks out your app, right? Because it'll help them download Metanet Wallet if they need to on their phone or on their computer. It'll handle that process for you. It'll handle the process if that user ever runs out of money while using your app, it'll help them to get more BSV at an all-time low price. And it will also allow you as a developer to earn money from every action taken in your application. So you can charge a developer fee, and then we charge a small platform fee as well, so that you can monetize your application. You'll see all of the revenue from any app that you've built that leverages Babbage Go within the Metanet developer dashboard. So you as a developer who build an app, you can track what people think of your app. You can manage your Metanet apps listing, and everybody thinks this sounds like a closed source platform, because that's all we've ever known, right? Like, for example, the Apple ecosystem, they have a centralized app store, and all of this stuff is just there, right? But Babbage Go, the source code is open. I don't know, there's like probably 5 different reasons why this is not a centralized silo platform, any one of which would destroy that argument. But
even this dashboard, like, it seems like a centralized platform where you have to go to, but you can literally build your own dashboard that plugs into all the same data. This is all using overlays and everything like that. So you don't even have to use this one. You can build your own.
I think we should publish this one.
Yeah.
At what URL can people find this specific dashboard?
This is developer.metanet.app.
Yep.
Yeah. Are the earnings public or not?
With Babbage Go, I don't believe the earnings are public. So you don't reveal to the world how much money you have received from your Babbage Go commissions in your apps.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just sent directly to you via the message box server of your choosing. So all of this is built on open and interoperable tech. The Metanet apps overlay is not controlled by us. It is a distributed overlay that anybody can run and sync up all of the blockchain transactions associated with publishing apps and letting everybody know where they are. We host and we own these domains, metanetapps.com and everything like that. But anybody can plug into that data. Anybody can, leverage. You don't have to use Babbage Go, but I believe the code for Babbage Go is public. So people can use whatever wallet they want. We're not the only wallet provider. There are open source wallets like BSV Desktop. There are mobile wallets that we've built, desktop wallets, but other companies are also working to integrate. I know Yours Wallet is another one. So, yeah, I mean, I've heard that feedback. I just wanted to address it, that sometimes it feels in our ecosystem like, this is a centralized platform where everybody gets on board to build their apps and, publish them in one place. But I just want to highlight the open nature of this. And as more companies come and compete about different aspects, whether it's they think they can have a better user experience for their wallet, or they think they can build a better dashboard with fancier graphs and charts, give people better insights into things, or whatever the case is, we're in an open ecosystem here, and all of that code is available. People can check it out, and we publish it openly because we believe that is one of the main value propositions of the technology, right? So this technology wouldn't be if it wasn't for making sure this was usable by anybody. And we've always said, and we will always say, that we have designed a system that will outlast us as a company, right? If Babbage goes away as a company, these systems will continue to operate. The protocols will continue to be there. The overlays will continue to be run by other people, and all of the transactions are on the blockchain. So we're excited to continue to develop new games and apps and systems that leverage the Metanet long into the future. But we don't want it to. We would not take everybody down with us. We saw that happen with Money Button collapse a long time ago, where when they went down, everything just stopped because it was plugged into their centralized API. But that type of system doesn't work, and we've learned hard lessons from that. We've learned scalability lessons from other systems like Run on Bitcoin. Unfortunately, that was a cool idea, but it was a little bit too early, and so yeah, we're here to build a system that allows everybody to plug into an open set of standards and tools. And for developers, we want to make it as easy as we can, and that's what the developer dashboard is designed to do. So thank you, Braden, for presenting that.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yep.
All right, where are we at with our chat and with everybody that wants to? Anybody feel free to jump in.
Questions here.
Okay. Well, yeah, so that's just some updates for developers from around the ecosystem in terms of if you're building apps. Definitely check out the new Wallet Toolbox. We've also been focusing on the 2.0 release for SDK. That includes Chronicle changes. So as we know, the BSV Association has pushed forward on the Chronicle release, and that is currently scheduled for mainnet activation, I believe, on April 7th, 2026. So we are taking steps to prepare for that release and to make sure that all of the tooling is available for everybody to make use of the the Chronicle related changes. There aren't many new opcodes or anything of that nature. It's just providing some completions of the rule set. So that's part of the TS SDK or TypeScript SDK version 2.0, which we are maintaining and working alongside them to roll out. We are working on. There's going to be some new remittance and invoicing and payment related stuff that's going to become standardized as part of the 2.0 release. We also think that there is a need, and we are very aware of this. We are working on it, and we have some initial things that that are in the process of being worked on for tokenization and allowing our BRC100 wallet world to be aware of things like fungible and non-fungible token assets. So I don't know how much we want to talk about that, but the wallet is becoming more aware of different types of assets. And so what that means is, right now we have spending and balance for Satoshis, right? But there are many different types of assets that people might want to record or use with a BRC, with a Metanet wallet, right? With a BSV wallet, and in fact, BRC 100 was extensible from day one, and it was modular from day one, so that people can add different modules or features or token protocol support extensions into BRC 100 wallets, so that it's not just a Bitcoin wallet, it's also a wallet for every type of token and asset that you would like to maintain. So, in compliance with regulation, and of course, we give people the tools they need to build compliance systems through digital certificates and things like that, right? So we have BRC 100, but if you actually go back like you get to 98. And then we have BRC 98, which is a module system, and BRC 99, which is a token basket module system that extends 98, and it provides the capabilities there. So we're working on that as well. Just to let everybody know, we will be deploying some various updates in respect of making wallets more intelligent and giving them more capability to use different modules to manage different types of assets. We're also very excited for the future of smart contracts. Back in the day, we talked about the token management features of, I think it was BTMS. And did we demo that in London on stage, or did we not do that and we did something else?
No,
We did something else.
no, something else.
We didn't do. Okay, we did Gateway. But yeah, so there's a thing called BTMS that we built in the past. Bitcoin, or basic. It was a basic tokenization management system, and it was like a way to issue and send and receive tokens. The old code is still out there, and there's definitely some new code. And so keep your eyes peeled on the open source repositories for new things related to that. I'm debating whether to make Braden try to do a demo of this.
It is right now.
So why don't we try and just give everybody a sneak preview maybe of what is coming in the next few days and weeks with respect to BTMS.
Right. So this is very early stage, but
we got to put your screen. Okay. So this is something we've been working on for a little while.
Okay. All right. So this is a demo of the BTMS system I was just talking about. So I have my asset vault here. As you can see, I have some silver tokens here.
Yeah.
So I'll click on that. Actually, before I do that, I'll go back for a second. So when I first come to this page, I'm going to hit reload. Oh, I already granted it. Okay. So close it.
You gonna revoke, or is it a session thing?
It's a session thing. Let me do something real quick. If you want to take my screen out for a second.
Yeah, we'll just take it down. So removed.
On demo from the start.
Okay. So we can create different types of things with blockchain, and one of them is, we can use UTXOs or blockchain outputs to represent value. And so, I think we're ready.
I think we're good.
All right, let's just put it back up. Cool.
All right. So when I first try to go to the token management page, if there's this new pop-up in my Metanet client, and it's a token access request. So it says authorize this app BTMS to access your BTMS tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what Ty was talking about, where BRC100 is extensible, and you can have what are called permission modules. So other companies, if they have other types of tokens and things, they can develop their own permission module.
Like reward points, even you could tokenize your whole credit card balance, and then you could be like allow to spend from a US dollar credit card. You could tokenize tickets for events specifically. You could do general purpose tokens. You could do stable coins. So shout out Money, MNEE, I suppose, is the most common current stable coin project in the BSV ecosystem. There's other USDC and other tokens as well that could be integrated. But yeah, so
I'll click approve here, and then it's going to load my assets that I have here. So these are stored in my local basket in a special type of basket. And if I click view details, then I'll go back to the page where you can see all of the transactions associated with this. You can see the total units I have of this token, and then you can see how different transactions. So I received, I was sent some, I burned some tokens, and I'll just demo this. So let's say if this was actual, like backed by physical silver or something, and whoever issued me these gave me the physical silver back or something, I can just burn some of these, and then I'll get a permission request for that as well to make sure I want to do that. And so my balance is 950, and once this completes, it should go down.
So we're still working on the performance of the system
right now.
And it's again an early preview, but the idea is you can create any type of token using BTMS. You could create, obviously we have the silver token example, but someone can just create any, and you can issue as many as you would like. Of course, as issuers of tokens, people are responsible to comply with regulation in terms of buying and selling those tokens for value. But sending and receiving and that type of thing, we're working with various people to make sure we deploy the system responsibly and make sure that it's used well within the ecosystem. Make sure that the tools are available and the training and the resources are available to implement identity verification where it might be necessary, or different types of verification. But
it's definitely seeming slow right now for some reason, but
it's because you're doing a demo.
Probably.
Issuing asset on the blockchain.
There we go. So I issued a new token called test. There's 100 of them.
100 test tokens.
There we go.
And then, yep.
You can see the issue is 100. Maybe I'll send it to my other account. Our internet. Approve.
So we'll just go ahead and approve the transfer from the wallet. Looks
What
like
has
there's
gone wrong?
As we said, this is early stage.
Yeah.
All this code will be open source on the BSV blockchain organization.
Yeah.
In the coming weeks.
We're committed to providing not only the module interface definitions for how modules can be declared within wallets, which, by the way, is already merged into Wallet Toolbox for those interested. But we're also committed to providing open source examples for how to build modules so that you can take, BTMS module and you can actually make your own type of token system and then, get wallet developers to incorporate that into their wallets while still being fully BRC100 compatible, and ensuring that we create interoperable token systems where possible. So push forward on making sure devs have the right tools and guidance for the creation of different types of tokenization systems, including complex financial instruments eventually, and different things like that, right? Custom scripts of all kinds. We think overlays are a big part of that. So that means making sure that we can do ring fencing where necessary to gate things. Only certain people who have, for example, accredited investor status can do things, or if you're on a sanctions list, obviously you're not able to transact. But also we think that local control over assets with baskets and custom instructions, tools like that, can be useful for direct peer-to-peer exchanges of value within more cash-like instruments that are small scale, like tokenized loyalty points or reward points or airline miles, things of that nature within e-commerce type flows.
Wow.
So that's a basic example of the basic tokenization management system, and we'll have more to say about that, of course, alongside other people too. It's all open source. This is a collaborative process. There's a lot of people involved. This is the people involved in the open source stuff. Obviously, just check out GitHub. Let us know. We want to make sure that this gets built in alignment with the needs of the ecosystem, and we'd like to make sure that we incorporate any feedback that people might have in the design of the module system, as well as the creation of specific modules, and make sure that we're able to meet the needs that everybody has with these types of use cases. I believe the BTMS code repository has been created on the BSV organization, and check that out, I suppose.
It's empty currently, but code will be there soon.
We're going to push some code there pretty soon. That's a simple example of, maybe we set the theme of this meetup as welcome to the real world. We also believe there's really powerful use cases for real world assets. And shout out to RWA and Mr. Garrett Kraus for his contributions to this space as well. We're very excited to see more engagement from that, and we think that we can do some really great things with systems like BTMS and more advanced systems that enable those types of use cases and bring them into the real world for average people to use and transact in many different ways using these Metanet applications.
Right. So I mean, like in theory, I could tokenize anything on here, anything in the real world. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could tokenize. I mean, maybe if you have some pet rocks, right, and you want to create unique tokens.
Any of my guitars, any of my mini guitars.
I mean, you could make tokens that represent them, and then it's just a matter of how you deal with those tokens, whether you have a digital twin and then you allow someone to invest in that guitar as a share of a fractional ownership or something. Of course, there may be some regulations and some verification processes.
I was curious about that. Yeah, like are there any trade regulations that push against this?
So it's important, of course, across jurisdictions. There are different rules, and so different people need to be treated differently. Of course, crypto is also an emerging asset class, and so things can change fairly rapidly. But I think the best course of action is just to do research for the specific people that you're going to be dealing with. Keep accurate records associated with everything that you're doing. Make sure you confirm the identity and the the investor accreditation status for people that you might be dealing with, and then we want to create the tools that that help people with that type of compliance as best we can, right? So as one example, to zoom like all the way out on this, we as a company, obviously the compliance requirements associated with running payroll and doing W-2 with employees and all of that stuff can be quite burdensome. So then companies like Gusto emerge as ways to help make that process a little bit more manageable for smaller companies. And so that type of approach, I think, works well, especially in such a heavily regulated area as where we're at. And we want to, obviously build partnerships and whatnot with different regulators so that we can help facilitate whatever compliance is required with different regimes, while also empowering the builders and the people who want to get value out of the capabilities that exist here to comply with those regulations and build something that that will work for their users and for their customers.
Great.
So yeah, many examples of use cases for something like BTMS and similar tokenization systems and frameworks. We want to build this on top of open standards and open technology. We don't believe that tokenization should be a vendor-first process where some issuer partners with some, integrator or vendor who creates a centralized mechanism of tokenization where you have to have that particular, wallet or this particular identity standard or whatnot. We want to make sure that we want to make sure that there are interoperability layers at every aspect of the tokenization and identity verification process, so that we don't create walled gardens, because the only thing worse than the kind of walled gardens that we have today on Web 2 when it comes to social networks and your identity walled gardens and everything, in my opinion, the only worst form of that would be a financial walled garden, where not only are you stuck, but also your money is stuck and your ownership of the things that you have worked for are stuck, because that's literally the definition of feudalism. And so to promote interoperability in this context means to promote the benefits of, what we saw with the transition away from feudalism in history towards more capitalistic oriented, systems where we could interoperate. And so we think that's an extremely important aspect of getting this right, is to make sure that this is built openly, so that no single vendor, no single company can just go out of business and then, invalidate all of these different these different tokens and assets that might have been issued in a platform like BTMS.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal, and that's what we're running towards in respect of tokenization. I guess that's mainly the news. That's mainly the stuff that we have been doing and the updates that we wanted to share. So to recap, I suppose, we're very excited about GeoFactoid as a way to promote interactions in the real world between people and the local communities around them. We think that's a powerful Metanet use case that combines the truth anchoring aspects of blockchain to geographic locations around the planet in a way that familiarizes people with their local area. We are excited to be making it easier for more developers to build and get feedback from their apps using the developer dashboard. We are happy to also be making it easier for users to make use of these systems. In the coming week, we will deploy all new versions of all of the wallets that we manage. And then I believe also BSV Association and others are working to deploy similarly on their side, incorporating these updates, these chronicle changes, but also the permission system. Because from an end user perspective, that has been really tough.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then, yeah, finally, this tokenization stuff. It's pretty cool, and I think it's going to make it much easier for people to build in the space while complying with regulation and creating new types of new dynamics for value exchange with tokenization. So, yeah. BRC 100 has been modular, not module. BRC 100 has been modular since the very beginning. It will be extended, and it will be done in that way. We will ensure maximal degree of interoperability when it comes to the modules that get created, and we will promote many people working together towards the same goals, so that we don't have fragmentation when it comes to different tokenization mechanisms or regulatory compliance things. That wouldn't be good. So we'll make sure that doesn't happen. And yeah, I would I'd like to thank Braden for demoing, even though it was a little bit of pressure on the BTMS one. And I'd like to thank everybody who chose to be here today. And we can kind of go to an open forum if anybody wants to talk about anything specific. We can take any questions, anything on anyone's minds that we want to talk about. Anything in chat?
Let's see. Bailey, did you have a question?
Bailey had a question. Let's see. Not sure.
I don't see anything new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just reading the chat messages?
Okay, so. I can't hear you, Bailey.
Yeah, I think you're muted. I think
your audio is not working properly. Then it's one.
Still can't hear you. Maybe your mic's turned down.
Sometimes on Mac OS specifically, there's permissions on audio where it makes it hard to. You have to restart your browser, and sometimes then it works, but
it's real pain.
Mac OS doesn't make it easy. They actually made a commercial, like 2007 era, something like that. It was like the Mac versus PC commercials, and they made one. They were making fun of allow or deny. So there's two things with that, right? So like they were basically saying what, like Windows Vista or something had like this whole problem where every single time there was a pop-up, it would be like allow or deny, make changes to your computer, right? And that's a funny ad. If you Google like Apple Mac ad allow or deny, you can watch it. But then now, like in 2026, the permissions on Mac OS are kind of like the same way as they actually made fun of Microsoft for, like 20 years ago or something. And I showed that to the Babbage team, of course, as we were working on our permission system and trying to get rid of the pop-ups and everything that was happening for the Metanet as well. Just because we don't want to be like current Apple, we want to be more like the old Apple when they were making fun of other people for doing that. And also they had a better product back then, in my opinion. But for the time, right? Of course, times change, and you have to upgrade and all of that. But yeah, it was interesting, and it can be tricky with all of the all of that stuff. But let's see.
You can type it into chat if you've lost audio.
Yeah.
Michael, I think we can hear your.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Typing too. Just
there's not shit I can do about that.
No, I think it's.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Hey, all right, cool.
Cool.
So I know that Kate has been with you guys for the past week, 5 days, whatever. And she had a tweet today that said the people who are smart are investing in bits. And I was wondering if that was, some outcrop of, what did you mean by that, Kate? Was that something that
Bit and
these
coin,
guys
right?
helped you? What?
It would be like bit and coin, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Data.
So there's like data versus money type.
Oh, I see. I was just wondering if that was sort of a veiled reference at what the most sort of apropos of investments are right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, is that a reference to what sort of where the smart money in BSV is right now? It sounds like you're saying it's just a reference to bit and not byte, but BYTE. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just referring to the data side. It's a lot more, it's a much better investment for the long term. And I mean, I hate to be that person, but BTC's up like 5% today and BSV's up like 13% or something like that. So I don't know, maybe some people are starting to see that. Random tweet.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's interplay between, when we think about Bitcoin, we think about information and money, right? And it's like kind of the idea that we have bit and coin, we have the unification of information and money. And we have like Babbage and our team and approach to Metanet has historically been very bit heavy, so to speak, in the sense that we are focused on the informational data integrity app ecosystem, like state management, digital privacy, data aspects of the technology. But and I think I sent a tweet like maybe it was early December or something like that, and it was basically like as we move into the next year and everything, we're going to be doing more on the coin side. And that means making sure as we build financial system integrations and whatnot, that it is, it's going to be compliant and acceptable for the mainstream audience as much as it is for the quote unquote crypto audience or something like that. Yeah, I mean, we have been a bit heavy for a long time, but I definitely want to see more coin stuff as well. And to do that right means to win the trust of the people who deal with value in the economy and in the world. And hopefully we can start doing some of that, making some of that, stuff work in 2026 as well.
Yeah, Zach Wiener had an interesting tweet where he talked about one of the last things Satoshi said, where he said basically like Bitcoin is for digital cash. That's always going to be its like central purpose. And the data stuff will be an added bonus, but it's always going to be kind of up to people to tokenize their data or, to own and protect their data themselves. That's not Zach was saying that Satoshi indicated that's not really what Bitcoin is ideal for. So I just thought that.
Yeah. I mean, certainly like overlay services and things that run on top of the network can be used to verify information, but we do need to build a lot of systems that that kind of complete the picture. I think that the Bitcoin system is very powerful for settlement and for the exchange of value. It also has the ability, when blocks are large, to record, to record useful information, and then to make, maybe using like script and really advanced things, make decisions about things get to happen in the world financially based on the existence or lack of existence for certain information. And so it's kind of both, but I do see that, I think the value or the focus on in the early days was, and by necessity, the coin aspects of the system, because that's the part that was initially demonstrated as like, I understand that I can buy this thing or hold this thing, and this thing is valuable. People understand what it is to be valuable. And then it's exchanging with other people and finding out how to scale that part. The bit part, so to speak, or like bit DNS, I think was Satoshi era. It's more counterintuitive, but the base layer network that we use for all of the transactions is fundamentally, it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, and overlays that build on top of that. Certainly can make use of that. I think the way that something like BTC went wrong, in my opinion, might have been just that they focused a little too much on that. They idealized ownership, and the layer 2 solutions they invented, so to speak, were requiring a lot of changes to the base layer system, which caused it to be non-functional for its intended purpose, and therefore indirectly and ultimately will lead to the collapse of any type of layer 2 that might be built on top, considering that it's no longer usable as cash. But our BSV system is usable, thankfully, as cash, and it can also act as a great base layer to build systems like the Metanet, where we can use all these apps and conduct ourselves, more in a more free world where we can exchange directly and also have privacy when we use our devices and whatnot. So that's the goal, and glad to have you on board. And I know that we got the drawing app out there as well. Did we ever talk about that on Meetup?
I think we did.
Did we ever talk about Everdraw?
We did.
Yeah.
I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I presented.
Yeah. This person brings up Tamagotchi on Script smart contract, and I think it is it's an important need. I need to be able to virtue signal about how well I take care of a virtual pet on the blockchain. When are we going to see something like this?
I like that.
You can make a record of how often you feed your virtual pet if you so choose to make such records. The system will record them, and it will include them in the blockchain.
Yeah, no. Thank you for that question. That's an amazing idea. Big golf claps for that, for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, maybe we bring it to a close. Well, this has been good, and we will come back in 2 weeks. I believe that's going to be the 20th of February. Yeah, it's not. I was going to say the 20th of December for some. No, it's February. February 20th. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the future looks like. We're going to probably have some new and exciting stuff to talk about. Again, metanetmeetup.com if you want to join and ask a question, something like that. Otherwise, if you want to get on the Metanet and you're not on the Metanet yet, well, then you can go to metanetapps.com, where you can check out some of the coolest apps around the ecosystem. John Calhoun, shout out for launching the TerraGun app, which is a transaction creation system. So lots of transactions can be created using that. And I don't know, maybe social, I don't know, there could be some elements, might raise some eyebrows for next time. There could be some elements of adversarial interoperability and social network integrations in the next Metanet Meetup.
Dropping big hits.
And space could be fun.
Space could be fun. Going to the moon. I'm not talking about price when I say going to the moon.
We'll see. Yeah.
I always like to keep it open because we don't always know what ideas are going to be here for these meetups. And like sometimes someone comes to us and says, I want to speak on the meetup and I want to talk about this, this, and this. And it's like, yeah, well, let's do it. So we'll see. But yeah, I think we have some fun ideas for adversarial interoperability, whatever that means. Yeah. And yeah, so check out the Metanet if you haven't already. If you're a developer, you can learn how to build Metanet apps by going to metanetacademy.com, where you can get hands-on labs, you can get instructor-graded assessments, and it's all interactive. So you get multiple choice questions, long answer, and yeah, some practical experience with using these tools to build. So check that out, metanetacademy.com if you're a developer. And if you're a user, well, just know that there is some really cool stuff that is becoming possible with this technology. And you can get the Metanet Explorer app on your phone, get metanet.com, or you can go and check out an app that you might like to use. And just give a follow to the people in the space that are here building. You can follow us at Project Babbage on X. You can follow Kate L. Masso. You can follow, I think, Bailey. Are you on X as well? You can shout out your follow everybody from around the, yeah. Follow everybody.
Yeah, we should really put our preferred handles below our our nomenclature.
Well, if you don't want to dox ourselves,
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose. But you're doxing yourself with your X handle. That's edgy.
All right, guys. Well, yeah. Thanks very much for joining, and we will see you on February 20th.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.